Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the James Xander Trip, where we dive into spirituality, psychedelics, personal growth, mindset, love, and how we can connect deeper with our soul and our heart. Joining me today is Cecile Duret. Cecile is an executive coach and leadership mentor. I first met Cecile at a leadership retreat here in Bali, and I was struck by her energy, her enthusiasm, and her passion around what it takes to be a great leader. I was also intrigued by her spiritual journey, her unique perspectives on life, and all the twists and turns that have led her to who she is today. In this podcast, we're going to dive into her leadership principles, the keys to energy and confidence, her spiritual journey, her experiences with the divine, and how she navigates the challenges and transformations of life to unlock the next level of her evolution. So, without further ado, Cecile Duret, welcome to the James Xander Trip.
Thank you, James. I'm very happy and very pleased to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Super grateful to have you. You are a leadership coach.
Yes.
What does leadership mean to you?
Leadership to me means to first be sovereign. So to lead yourself, to be aligned with who you are, and to be, if I can maybe take it simple, be your own director, your own boss. Not let nor your mind, nor your conditionings, nor external effects to control you and put you in the direction you don't want, or put you away to who you really are.
Are there some common mistakes that people make when they think of leadership or leading a team, leading themselves?
Yes, but there's a stereotype vision of what a leader is. Most people think that a leader is somebody who's rural, who will say to people, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, with an incarnation of the authority and only like direct people. Well, this is not what a leader truly is. If you think about what are the leaders you look up to, for example, if you think one of my leaders, for example, Martin Luther King, you know, if you envision his leadership, or Nelson Mandela, do you associate with the description I have done before? Not at all, right? So is looking by people that inspires you.
That have a vision.
Exactly. To lead is to inspire.
To lead is to inspire. I love that.
Yeah. It's not to tell to people what they need to do. It's to inspire them to be the great version and to guide them and help them to be that.
That's why we admire people like Steve Jobs, because he inspired entire teams to create products that were not seen before.
Absolutely. Yes.
How do we become great leaders?
Thank you for asking that. By being the best for yourself. How can you inspire yourself? How can you be the best version of yourself? When you look at your day, your actions, or your journey, what inspires you in that, and what can you, I would say do, but I want to say be, embody, to be more inspired by you and by your journey.
In your life, how have you become a better leader for yourself, for your friends, for your team members?
By taking hard decisions for myself. So it's not about being worried about what others needs or what will think about you or whatever, but it's about you, about being aligned with who you are, your values, your vision. So how did I became, or I'm becoming the leader I want to be, is by taking hard decisions. And I've done that so many times. And I think because you're able to do the hard thing, that inspires others.
Mm.
And that opened a way of possible. So they can look at you and say, oh, wow, she done that. So that's possible for me too. That's something available for me too.
I love that.
Yes.
What's been the most difficult decision you had to make to become who you are today?
The first one. I mean, so I have to get back
Yes, back in time.
Yeah, traveling in time right now to 2006. And I was in Paris at the time. I was living in Paris, and I was deeply, deeply in love with who I thought was the love of my life at the time. And that was a very unhealthy relationship. And I didn't want to see how sad and unhappy I was. Well, so that's a setting. And because I had faith, and I had this idea, oh, it will change, or that will change.
Mm.
And I'm a very positive person, and I have always a strong hope and faith in things. So this at the time was very unbalanced, but that was what it was. And that's actually where my journey started. And the decision, so this is, I had a spiritual connection and opening, wake-up call. And that led me to work on myself, because I understood at that moment that the only thing I could actually change was myself. And so that insight was very mind-blowing, and I put myself on it. And at the end of that work, like a year after, I faced the biggest and hardest decision of my life, which was my biggest love, and myself.
Choosing between them.
Exactly. So if I'm here today, it's because I chose myself. And at the time, that was very, very, very hard. And the most important decision of my life. So after that, it's like I've been born again. I allow myself to be myself again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Before this podcast, I asked you a question, which was, were there any pivotal moments in your life that have shaped who you are? And I love how you answered that question. You said, when or every time I chose myself fully.
Yes.
When or every time I chose myself fully. I felt the resonance of that so deep.
Mm.
And I think every person listening to this feels that. Every time you've chosen yourself, what you need as the next step in your evolution, whether it's to leave a job, leave a safe career, leave a relationship, move countries, whatever that is for you.
Or stay. Sometimes you stay.
Interesting. So for someone listening who might be in a position where they don't know if they should stay or go, whatever the situation is, how can they tune into what is right for them?
So first, they need to tune into their body to get out of their mind, because the mind is tricky, and the mind will play the card of safe, maintaining them safe, like the comfort zone. Okay, what is it for them? Whatever is. So when they are in confusion, the confusion is lead to indecisiveness, and this is where you lose your power. So a way to get your power back, you need to be in your body. And of course, you can improve your sensibility. For example, if you train your sensitivity to receive the message of your body. So you can see, for example, you can feel what kind of food is good for you today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. simple.
Intuitive eating.
Exactly. When you're in a buffet, you have a lot of different plates with food and you can choose everything. And if you tune into your body, you will sense what is feeling right for you today or what is not.
Yes.
This is like a training you can do. But more deeply, tune into your body. And I have something also that helped me to make a decision. If it's not a fully yes, it's a no. It's not a complete yes. Like if you're not all your body like vibrating yes.
If the heart, the soul, and the mind are not in agreement and all saying yes.
The mind might be not in agreement, and this is not a problem. I mean, this is confusing, but this maybe
It's the heart.
It's your soul, your heart, yes. Because the mind, it depends what are your patterns. It depends how much you are conscious.
Yes.
It depends conscious of your patterns and conscious of the manipulation that can happen up there. So if you are in tune with, the body can't lie, the sensations you can receive. So if you are in this indecisiveness, to find clarity, tune into your body, stay in silence.
So when you chose yourself in 2005, Paris, you left the relationship and you left the city as well. You went on an adventure.
Everything. I left my country. That was a big decision.
Yeah.
Not only, that meant to end my relationship, but that went also to open a new book for myself. Because what happened at the time is that I reconnect with what I have the most powerful in me, which was my dream, or which were my dreams. And one of them was to live out of France. And so that meant embrace all that change and shift and big. But I'm a kind of a bit radical sometimes. But, if I change, it's like I'm all in. I'm embracing it. It's frightening.
Yes.
But it's, it's the beauty of life, I think.
And you did it a couple times. You went to India, spent some time there. Then you moved your whole life to Argentina.
Exactly.
Not knowing a single person there.
No.
What was the inspiration to go to Argentina, and how did Argentina transform you?
So I don't know why I chose exactly Argentina. I think I obviously at that time I didn't have any consciousness of intuition of all that stuff. I was like almost a baby in terms of unconsciousness. But I think at that time my soul was so strong that I surrendered to her and just let it guide me. That's beautiful. When I look back and I connect with this period, I was like, wow, what happened? I was amazing. That was amazing because actually I surrendered so much to the process that when I decided to move to Argentina, the process was, I will move to another country. It's going to be hard. And I want to, if I can make it a bit more easy for me. And I thought, well, South America, people, there's no research on that. Not only, only feelings. So I thought in my head, well, South America, people are more open and social. I am an open person and I'm social. So I wanted at least, because I had the opportunity like 2 years before, something like that, to travel to China. And the culture is so different and people are not that friendly that as I am, not touchy, not, there's a distance. So I say, let me make it easier. So I chose South America. And I was like, South America, huh? And there's something funny about that because I said, oh, yeah, let's go to, it's like closing the eyes and pointing, like swiping the globes and like, oh, Argentina. And I had the idea to of, oh, I will get there and buy a blender and I will make the most exquisite tropical fruit juice and all that. Well, that didn't happen because that is Brazil. Argentina is the same fruit than France. So,
Oh.
so that was a level of my knowledge of Argentina. Just, I think I follow my guidance.
I love your process of choosing the country, which was, I want a culture that integrates with my level of socialness. I like to be very social, very open, touchy. What culture fits that paradigm? And I think that's kind of how I chose Bali as well. It called to me, but there was also a sense of, okay, what is life like there? What could it look like? I phoned a few friends who were living here at the time and I said, tell me what it's like. And for example, here where we are in Canggu, it's very entrepreneurial. But if you go to Ubud, you get the spiritual vibes.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, those are two facets of me that I love to explore. That seems like a perfect fit. Get more of the hustle culture in Canggu, get more of the spiritual vibes in Ubud. And for anyone listening, they can really choose out of the video game of life. There are so many different territories that you can go to, and some will match more closely to your vibe. And I love that awareness that you had of, okay, France, probably you love it, but it was kind of done for you at that point. Let's go to another part of the video game where I can be more myself, shine more.
Or explore more.
Or explore more.
This side, right? And you ask me what Argentina taught me or learned. First of all, I think I've learned a lot about friendship. Argentina people are, wow, they are next level friends. It's amazing to see every one of them still have gathering with people from the primary school.
Wow.
Yes, wow. That's the level of friendship they have. So when you I still have amazing friends and friendships in Argentina.
What do you think in their culture makes them such great friends or great long-term friends?
Well, they are all about family. So I think they cultivate friendship as a family bond. And they love this kind of Italian vibe. They love the gathering with everyone, the chaos, and all of that. And yes, they are very about bond and links, and yeah.
When you think of friendship, who are the people that you look for in your friends? What are the values and characteristics that light you up?
Excellent question. I look for open people in a kind of spiritual evolution, like conscious and mindful. Also kind, like kindness is a value which is very important. And integrity. True people that are true to themselves. So also the relationship you will create will be true and transparent and nourishing. Yeah. Yeah, I think that.
The integrity piece is so important, also for oneself.
Oh, yes.
I think part of my spiritual evolution has been realizing that I must always stay in the truth, even when no one is watching, because you know And that's all that matters. You know if you did the right thing or not.
Well, this is leadership.
Okay. So let's circle back to leadership. Integrity is obviously a key characteristic of a leader.
Absolutely.
Are there other qualities that you see that leaders must cultivate to step into their leadership?
Responsibility. Responsibility is, so if you cut the word, right? Your ability to respond to any situation. So anything coming to you, you will choose how to respond to it. Not react, but how you will deal with it, right? And when you are acting in responsibility, you are out of the victim mode. You're no more a victim because you understand what comes to you, at least things comes to you or for you, not, how you say that in English?
Things happen for you, not to you.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So you don't put yourself in the position of victim. Oh, why this is happening to me?
You immediately take responsibility.
Yeah, so what can I do with that? Or how can I make the most out of it?
Yes.
Yes.
And then in terms of navigating difficult scenarios, like let's say someone is running a company or a business, they have a team to lead.
Yes.
And they're going through a crisis. What is the best thing a leader can do in a crisis or a catastrophe?
So first, before the crisis happen, I will answer your question, but people need to understand. So it's nice to fix when there's a problem occurring, but it's even more interesting if you prepare the scenery for that. So when I work with team, I make them work and create, because most of the company, not all, but have like a kind of culture. But what they do is they put in a wall a list of rules or a list of things, or they have nice words, printed in the wall and all that, and that's it. And they think this is the company culture. But that doesn't mean anything for people. So it's empty, doesn't work. So what I do, I help the company, the team, and everyone together. Of course, it depends on the size of a company, right? But to create a team code of honor or code of culture, whatever name fits better for you. So you work on your values. What are the values? First, you understand what are your values. People don't know. And what are the values of the company? And then from there, what kind of what the values that inspire you to reach, and create a system, a code of honor that will maintain the team together in any case scenario. So when there's a crisis happen, they know the standards. They know, for example, in the team, if you have never abandoned a teammate in need as a rule, so anything happen, you will operate from that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is obviously better if you have that, because that helps you to navigate through any crisis, because people will stick together for real. So now, and that's why some companies during pandemic crash and others make millions, right? That's one of the reasons. And so if you don't have that, and there's a crisis hitting you at this moment, as a leader, your job is to serve. And I will, perfect example. Can I share?
Of course.
So he was the founder and CEO of Patagonia, which is a remarkable brand, a clothes brand. Yeah, outdoors clothes. Yeah, absolutely. And That happened like 2 years after he endorsed the CEO role, and a big crisis hit the company. Hit the company and the world. Like, I don't remember what kind of crisis one, but big crisis. And the board, uh, there was a meeting with the board, and the board said, what happened usually with crisis? What they say, you need to reduce costs. And what is the solution? Easy solution to reduce costs?
Layoffs.
Exactly. So you need to cut people, right? So this day he went back to his home and was so worried, and he was like in perturbation mode. And so his wife said, what happened? So he told her what happened. And because really he didn't want to cut people off. And she said, this is where feminine energy is, is popping, and that's why it's so important. So she asked him a question. So this decision to cut people off, to fire people, is that made from fear or from love?
Yeah.
And he looked at her and said, well, fear. So she told him, if you could make a decision from love, what would you choose? And he said, well, I wouldn't cut anyone and fire anyone, and I will find another solution. And this is what happened. The next day, he came back to the company and he made an announcement. And so he opened himself. It was vulnerable. There's so much power in that. He opened, share with his team. And what happened? He didn't fire no one. And the team, what happened with the team when you tell this story? Everyone stick together, double, triple the efforts. And the company overcome the crisis beautifully. So this is possible. So my advice through this example, which inspires me very, very much, is that first, there's always another solution. If your intention is from love, so the root of it is love and not fear. And as a leader, how can you bring people together, create cohesion, and together, there's so much force in it, you can find another solution, a better solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you highlighted that togetherness is the key. I mean, that is literally what a company is, a company of people. And when you do things like layoffs from a place of fear, it reduces morale in the company, because then people are like, well, if that's what happened to my coworker, why am I going to double my effort?
They all operate in fears right now, fear right now, because, it's made of fear. The fear is very contagious. So they all in fear, like, would I lose my job? And that's if you see the company as a cup, for example, the cup start to crackle,
Good metaphor.
And the liquid, like what is really the company will spread. Yeah.
It reminds me of during the last year or so, we've had a lot of layoffs from different tech companies. Facebook fired, I think, thousands of people. Google fired. These are billion-dollar companies that can surely afford to pay the salaries, but they choose decisions probably to save costs out of fear. And one company did not do any layoffs, and that was Apple. Partly because they're very careful with hiring. They tend not to overhire and then let go people. They hire strategically. But also, they must have realized this is not what Apple stands for. This is not how we do things. We are a team.
Yeah.
And while we might save costs if we lay off some people, it's going to create the cracks in the glass that you may not see now, but which will become more and more visible as time goes on.
Exactly. And what that revealed, they might have a very strong code of honor and strong values, and they stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned vulnerability. I think one of the myths of a leader is that you must never show your weakness. You must always be strong. And I think there's some truth in that. For sure, when the whole company is looking up at a leader, they want to follow someone who's strong. But what is the subtlety there about vulnerability and how that integrates into leadership?
I don't see strong and vulnerable as antagonists.
Okay. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this.
Because if you, taking back this example, if you see someone showing up and being vulnerable is not weak, it's at the contrary, you need a lot of courage to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That means you open your armor, your armor, and you show what's inside of you. You show a point that you can be hurt, Vulnerable is like when you open yourself, you have no armor, no defense, and so people can hurt you, right? But there's so much strength in that. You have to be freaking courageous, brave, right?
And people sense that.
Absolutely. Get inspired by that.
But then in terms of, let's say, you're the CEO of a company.
Yes.
There's some crisis going on. You want to remain strong in that situation.
Absolutely. But what you want to do is you want to stand for. You want to stand for your people, stand for your values, stand for your mission,
yes,
vision. And that what maybe you associate with strong is like to be in your power.
Yeah.
So be in your power, you completely aligned, you fierce, you're just maybe you have clear vision and you go for that. You let anything in the way, right? This is strong. That doesn't mean you can be also vulnerable, also in compassion, empathic, When you integrate within yourself all the signs of the leadership, the masculine energy, the feminine energy, so you become next level leader, which is wall. You transcend the duality to operate from this wellness, right? So there's no separation. You can be both. You can be a very strong leader and very gentle and very empathetic and very intuitive.
Is there an example of a leader that comes to your mind that inspires you?
Oh, well, there's many leaders that inspires me. And I want to name female leaders too, like Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yes.
Is an amazing leader. Yeah. I want to name, I name male leaders like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela are forever mine inspirations. But if you see also Mother Teresa, she is an amazing leader. She was, right? What are the characteristics that in common to these people? So I have a vision, a clear mission, and they don't wave upon pressure. If you see Nelson Mandela, he spent 20 years in prison. He didn't become violent. He stayed true to himself. What most inspiring than that,
When you stay true to your own credo.
Yeah.
And your mission. In terms of Oprah, do you see any other qualities in her leadership that are inspiring that we should learn from?
Yes. She is all about others, right? About people. She's very caring. She's very empathetic. She brings people together. She was able to create an amazing career for herself. She opened a path that didn't even exist before. And she brought people with her. It's not an alone ascension.
Yes.
Yeah. You bring your people with you. This is This is what a leader does, right? And you just bring people with you. Yeah, I have an analogy that comes to my mind. Most of the people are like crabs
Mm-hmm.
in bucket.
Dragging each other down.
Exactly. Why crabs never? So you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and none of them will escape. Will manage to escape. It's not because they can't. They can, but every time that the crab reaching the top, there's another pushing back, right? So a leader is a contrary. Is not a crab. It's just when you reach the top or in the ascension, you bring people with you.
It's never a lone wolf thing.
It can't be.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be. You cannot ever do something great alone. I believe that.
So someone listening to this who might not be running a company or a business, but yet they are also a leader of their community, of their tribe, of their circle, no matter how big or small it is.
Exactly. We are all potential leaders. I mean, the first person you need to lead is yourself. So doing that, you're a leader.
And then after you've led yourself to inspire others around you?
That comes naturally. It's not something, oh, you put that goal and say, oh, I will inspire people. That won't work. That won't work. It's just you doing you.
You doing you. I love that.
You know, I learned this lesson. I was in São Paulo, Brazil. I was crewing at events, self-development events, big one, like 2,000 people, 1.5 thousand people and all that. And I was volunteering, crewing, organizing the staff and whatever. And so they gave us every time, you know, a kind of breakfast, very industrial juice, industrial bread, industrial whatever. And so this is not me. I have this is I don't know why you
This is below my standards.
Absolutely. So yeah, so I always brought with me my breakfast, which is like smoothie, healthy, or fruit salad with a lot of nuts, whatever. So I always brought with me my breakfast. By doing that, I was only doing me, you know, like this is not good for me. I don't want that, even if it's free. Thank you very much, but I want to do that to myself, and I was taking care of myself. And few months after, because I was crewing a lot of events, and we remained the main team, most of the same people. And after a few months, I start to observe some people started, because some people ask me, oh, what is that? It's curious. I was like the black sheep, you know, the only one, and start to ask me questions. And few months, people started to bring their own breakfast too.
Right.
Healthier.
Right.
So I didn't, why I'm telling that? This is a very simple thing, right? By staying true to myself, I didn't mean to inspire anyone. I was inspiring myself, you know? And by doing that, ripple effect.
Mm-hmm. People see you upgrading your standards. They say, oh, I should upgrade my standards too.
Well, I can do that good for myself too. I can have that impact for myself too. I can, oh yes, that's true. I can be healthier. And so, wow, that happened naturally. You never entitle yourself leader. People recognize your leadership.
Yes.
It's not you putting a label. Oh, now I am the leader. No, you can be the boss, but a leader, I'm sorry, you will be recognized as one.
That's such a great distinction. You can be the boss, but a leader, that's something that others recognize you for, not a self-professed title.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot say to people, "Oh, see me as a leader." no, I need to be inspired. I need to look up to you.
And for them to see you as a leader, you have to start with yourself, your own values, your own integrity, your own compass, your vision. How can someone step into that, become a better leader of themselves?
Well, spend time with yourself, learn to know you. So when I say spend time with yourself, is like with no distractions, no phone, no Netflix series. You can have that in another moment. But if you decide to spend time with yourself, just go in nature without your cell phone, just you. Spend time. I remember when I was a kid, there was a time with no cell phone and not that technology. And I remember to be bored. And I remember to lie down in the garden and look at the clouds and imagine shapes from the clouds and all that. So do that. Spend time with yourself and learn about what's important to you. What are your values? I always work on that with my clients when they first come to me, because for anything you need to understand who you are and to get in touch with your truth. So what is important to you? And by knowing that and by receiving that, acknowledging that, you can choose differently. So we are a species of habit, right? We get up in the morning. I hope you wash your teeth and take a shower. Well, we have a routine, right? And these successions of unconscious or not habit define your reality today. So if by knowing who you are, learning about who you are, you understand that maybe some habits I have, some actions or some choice I make are not in alignment with that, you can now, with this awareness, choose differently. If you say, for example, oh, one of my value is health, but I'm eating a lot of things that are not good for my body. Wow, what can I do differently today? For example.
So it's the awareness,
Yes.
being aware of your ideal values and how your reality matches up to that, your daily actions. I like how James Clear talks about habits. I think he said something like, every habit is a vote for the kind of person you think you are. So when you go to the gym, it's another little vote, another little check mark of, I am the type of person who wakes up early and goes to the gym. And so when you can stack up these votes, then you start leading yourself. You start gaining momentum.
Yes. And that's why I wrote the book I wrote, in which I shared the 31 habits I adopted, really. I make my own. I blend my identity with them, and that changed my life because I was a completely different person before. And for example, I was the embodiment of a French person. Well, I'm French now, by now, if you don't know. And I was complaining a lot, like a lot. And I realized that in Argentina. Wow, I was complaining a lot. And a very good friend of mine, she still is, and she's very direct. And a few times she said, Cecile, you just stop. Nothing is good. You're just complaining about everything. And I look at myself and I was, wow, I don't want to be with this person like myself. And this is not nice, to be with a person always complaining, always finding the thing this is not working. So this is very French. I'm sorry for my...
You said it.
I know. Yeah. I completely assume that. Yeah, but this is something French people need to evolve to.
It's a part of the culture in a way.
Yeah, we have very high standards. And the school, the education system, there's no... for example, we have no graduation party. Now the president wants to install that, which is, I think, very good. This is a very English or American stuff, but we don't celebrate. You know, so very high standard, very high pattern, but never acknowledge. So that's why we are very hard on ourselves.
Oh, I see.
Yes. And that's why it's very easy to enter in a room or something, and you always will pick the only thing that the small stuff, the small stain in a wall, whatever. Say, oh, it's not. I guess. That doesn't mean, yeah, I know the root cause, but it's not a reason, right, to still operate this way. So when I wake up from that nightmare, I was for myself, I just choose differently. Yes. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because you can enter a room and see everything that's going beautifully.
It's a choice, actually.
It's a choice, exactly.
It's in your power. What you focus on will expand.
And it's a habit, too. I think at first, you have to keep making the choice to hold your tongue and look for the positive. Eventually, it becomes more easy to mention the positive and out of character to mention the negative.
Yes. My switch was, I was in Argentina. I received a very new friend from Brazil. And we had this amazing, I brought her in a very beautiful party, Brazilian party. And what in the party, the only thing I could focus on, of course, I was very worried. I wanted her to have a lot of fun, right? So I was like, oh, the sound is not good. Oh, that is not good. So I spent all the night like, oh, that is not good. That is not good. But I've saw her, she was having fun. She was having fun. I was like, well, she is having fun, so I will have fun too. And on the way back, at that time, we could walk back at night. I love that. Walk in the cities at night. Yeah. So we walked back and she said, oh, the song wasn't that good, right? And I was like, damn, see, she saw that too. But instead of staying in the negative like I was, she just enjoyed with what she had at the moment. And that's so a very Brazilian thing that inspires me. You know, I learn a lot from Brazilian people too. The ability to take the best out of the situation, even if you broke, even if the sun is not good, even if the people, whatever, the food or whatever. But in the present moment, you're here and you're going to make the most out of it. So that was the shifting point for me. And from that moment, I just retrained myself to not complain and to not focus on the bad, but just nourish me with all the good that the situation can bring me.
You remind me of Abraham Hicks. They always talk about make the best of it. Make the best of it and make lists of positive aspects. Open your journal and make a list of all the things you love in your life and challenge yourself to keep going. And there is actually not an end to it.
Oh, yeah.
There's always so much to appreciate if we just look for it.
Oh, yeah. And there's so much in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you start to amplify your vision, you open your heart to what is good. Yeah, it's like I said, it is not my quote, but what you focus on expand. So if you start to focus on the good, the beauty, that will expand for you. And you will live in that frequency. You will rise your frequency, and that will become your reality.
Yes. What was the frequency for you when you came to Bali, and how has that affected your vibe?
So the frequency I was before arriving.
When you arrived?
Love.
Love.
Yeah. Bali for me was such a wonderful love vibration. And the first time I went to Ubud, I remember that moment very brightly. I was in a Gojek and And I could feel the more I getting closer and closer, the more my heart was opening and opening. I was receiving all the love. Like I think Ubud has more, the frequency is even more intense, but Bali is pure love. If you can connect to it, is so amazing. And that helped me to reach my next level of self-love.
Ah,
I
wow.
couldn't even know that was possible.
Can you talk more about how that has looked for you? How the self-love journey has looked for you?
Oh, wow. The self-love journey start with
Big question.
start, but it's interesting. This is so you will see that possible. I was such a different person. I come from no self-esteem, no self-confidence. I was not very shy because I am very energetic person and I love to laugh and friends, but also I'm very insecure. I was very insecure and I was very in the need of approval every time. So obsessed by what people would think of me, right? So I was full of insecurities to take a decision at that time, back in the days. I will need to ask my mom, my sister, or my boyfriend to be able to take a decision, a small decision, not even. So
So
that's
outsourcing your leadership to them.
exactly. I was not in my power. And as you said, outsourcing my power. Yeah. And so that's why the biggest decision of my life, that was big stuff because I've done it by myself. I never asked any, that was an inner process.
Choosing yourself.
Yeah. And that was very with myself. And so that was like, for me, this is like huge, huge. And so that was really the start of, wow, okay, I will choose myself, but that doesn't mean that happened like that the process was only started, right? So self-love. So I put myself in so many situations where I harm myself, I hurt myself, like, going out with a wrong people, uh, love the wrong people, you know, uh, outsourcing the love, uh, trying to find the love in others, find the acceptance in others. And that only can lead to something that will hurt you, right? So it's a journey. For me, it was a big journey to build uh, the acceptance, maybe first, accept my journey, accept who I am, the way I am, imperfect. I'm a kind of perfectionist, and I have high standards, and I have high vision. Like, yes, my vision is big and illimited, and so how can I find that in myself, right? So first is accept I'm not perfect yet, and this is, I mean, never will be perfect, but I'm not that big person I want to be yet. I will awake it, because I do believe we are huge. We have an unlimited potential. We are wonderful, right? But sometimes, or most of the time, we not this is dormant, or we're not letting ourselves to be that big, right?
Yeah.
And so
We're playing small.
yes, and because of a lot of things, right? Because of fears, because of nobody told us we can be big, that big, or we can be ourselves, which is big.
Was there a turning point in your life after that first decision to leave Paris where you felt the most connected to your self-love? And you said, okay, I understand a deeper level here now of what it means to love myself.
Well, I think in Bali.
Bali.
So it's a lot of years after, but a lot of years of building and construction and making mistakes and, keeping with faith, right? And this level I reach in Bali, because I have no problem to be on my own. I love my company. So this is a step, right? But I always had this kind of, I really want to have a partner in my life, which I don't right now, right? And I always was like, but I would love to have a partner. And I was a bit in that lack. Even if I know, you don't, but cognitively you can know things, but your body and your emotions is a different deal. So I was in that longing to, yes, it is nice something. Sometimes when you are a woman and you are super independent and you are leading with all of your life, your business, and you are thriving and you are doing everything, what do you want at the end of the day? You want a hug.
Yes.
You want to be able just to release and relax and let go of that shit in a safe space.
Yes.
So that's why
you want someone to hold that structure for you.
Yes. But in the meantime, if that person is not there, you have to be that person too.
Yes.
And you don't want it. You resisted to it because I do all the work, everything, just I clean, I thrive, I just sell, I do everything. I take care of me, but wow, that part, it's hard. Sorry, it's hard. And so I never overcome this level, of the game. You say, but here in Bali, that happened in the first weeks I was here. Nothing changed. Like I was single still, nothing happened external, but internal, because I still keep on with my inner work. And of course, the vibration here helped a lot. And I was very open. I came prepared. I came open. And I came with that in mind too, And as a coronation of this work, I just reached the next level of the game. Like, wow, I don't need this hug anymore. I don't need, I want it.
But you don't need it.
I don't need it.
That's powerful. And that's the best place to be in with any desire. I'd like it. I would prefer it. But I'm also completely okay here and now. It's
not also. It's I am. It's not and also. It's just I am perfectly whole. Whole with who I am right now. I feel good. I feel complete. I feel loved. And if anything more happen, I will be so happy and I will welcome that.
Yes. Yes, and.
Yes, and. Yes. Because that, I believe, that is the foundation of anything next level love. So now I know that that exists within me, that never will be taken out of me. Or maybe I can lose it, I don't know, but I can recover it.
Yeah, you've experienced it now, so you have that reference point.
Oh, yes. And I know it's there, and it's mine. and I nourish that. And I think that strength is the perfect foundation for you to welcome someone in your journey.
Because you're already complete.
Yeah.
In yourself.
Yeah. I don't believe that half orange or whatever. You just need to be by you being complete, you connect with another complete partner.
Mm-hmm.
And that journey is like
creates the magic.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because you're not here to complete, you're here to help the other expand, which is hard work.
Okay. This is so good that you mentioned that. You're not meeting someone to complete yourself or complete them. You're there to expand each other.
I mean, some people want relationships, but actually what they want is companion, like have someone to share activities, to do something together and that. What I believe is a true relationship is somebody that will come in a spiritual level to help you go to your next level together. That means that will trigger you. That will be the work not even start yet. Yeah.
Congratulations, you found your partner. Let the work begin.
Yeah. Now the game can really start. Yeah. I think that this is a next level evolution.
And this makes me think that when you're in a relationship that's not working, it must be in some sense because you're not feeling the expansion anymore, or they're not feeling it, or both of you are not expanding each other.
Well, it depends in what is your mindset or the way you envision your relationship. But because now everything you can throw it away, right? Is one use. One use only. Or you say, what is a word for something you
Single
use?
use.
Single use. Thank you. So everyone, not everyone, a lot of people are just, it's starting to be hard. Oh, single use. I will throw it. I don't want that hard part. Well, if you want a relationship, this is what is going to be. This doesn't mean because it's hard that is not working. I think this is working so well. I need to uplevel myself to reach this person there. I will, uplevel my communication for sure. Because when you work with yourself, it's one. And now you start interacting with somebody in a very intimate level. So it's much more to lead with, right? And so this person will come for you to trigger the point you can overcome, the point of expansion of your next level, and vice versa. That's why it can be hard. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about confidence.
Yes.
Is confidence something we get or something we build?
Thank you. It's something we build. And why? Because I had no confidence in me at the time. I mean, yeah, it's something I built for myself. And that was very nice. We had a talk last day and a few days ago, and you told me, yeah, you're a very confident woman. And I was like, oh, it's so nice. You see that, because sometimes I don't see myself like this, because it's a constant work on myself. And for us women in particular, I think confidence it's a big deal, and we need to work on that deeply. And there's so many things that can put it down. It's so easy to lose it. So any situation, a word of someone or whatever, and the society is built in a way that that activate, that triggers our insecurities all the time, like social medias. You compare yourself every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is not good for your self-confidence, right?
100%. And everyone is just posting the best, most edited bits of their life. You're not seeing any reality there. Not really. Because the
Piece of
wholeness,
it.
a
Yeah,
tiny
a
piece of it. Yeah.
Yeah, a piece of it. But yeah, it's unreal. Yeah, I found it very sad. Everyone using filters. That's a distortion of reality,
Mm-hmm.
and that can create also a big distortion with your self love. How you say when you put it far, a separation,
Mm-hmm.
very, very getting bigger and bigger because you won't accept yourself without a filter, or you won't accept yourself, you won't love yourself without a filter. Yeah, this kind of things I think making it harder to love yourself.
So you said in the beginning you had a lot of insecurities, were not confident. How did you build up your confidence, and how can the listener learn from your experience to build their confidence?
Oh, I never thought about that. It's a good question. So I think how I build my confidence is believing in myself and maybe in my abilities. So challenging myself. I'm a good example of challenging myself. So if you start believing that anything that comes to you because you're ready for it, so you can handle it.
Ah, yes, I love that. If it's in your life, you're ready for it.
Exactly. Anything that will come to you, and if it's in your life, like you said, is if it's present to you, to yourself, you're ready to overcome that or to integrate that or to do it. And it's true.
When someone loses confidence in themselves because of a failure or a
Mm.
crisis of some kind,
Mm.
what is the best way of building it back up?
Remind you of your journey. Remind yourself of what you've accomplished. Like, I have a tendency to forget the amazing things I've done. And sometimes it takes other people to remind you that. Like, I have the tendency of undermining myself and diminishing myself. And when I see in other people like the excitement, the admiration, or whatever, I'm like, oh, that reminds myself that, oh, okay, that, okay. And so start to collect good comments. For example, maybe you don't have feedback from your clients, but if you have, collect them. But it can be friends. You can receive a beautiful voice note from a friend of you and collect that. Collect moments you received, words of appreciation, right? And put that in a very special place. Can be in your wall, can be in a place on your phone, and just go back to that. The energy in that will infuse in you. Sometimes we need that from the outside. So every time I see videos of me like giving these amazing workshops and all that, and people in other kind of vibration, everyone is vibrating, and I'm like, wow, I've done that. So every time I'm down because that happened, this is absolutely normal, or I doubt, or
Keeping a list of wins, keeping a list of
yeah,
things you've accomplished really helps. And then, like you said, the words of affirmation, words of appreciation.
yes, and you can have it like, when you were small, maybe you have a box and you put all your treasures
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
You can
We need a box of appreciation.
absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, the magic box that when you need an extra dose of confidence, of energy, of trust and faith,
Yes.
you open that magic box and you just let infuse to you,
Yes.
in you. Yeah.
I love that.
Hmm.
I want to ask you about being on stage.
Oh,
The first time you were on stage, you're in front of 840 people,
exactly.
and you have a revelation of I love it and they love it too. It's a match.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that moment of getting up on stage, doing your first speech or presentation, and
Yes.
feeling that connection.
So I still can remember this exact moment. And of course, there's the butterfly in the belly and all the adrenaline and the fears and all that, that mix of emotions.
Cocktail.
Oh, yes. Explosive. And that just vanish in the moment you're there at service. Because you have to understand that when you are, well, I envision myself as a trainer. I'm not there to show how smart I am. It's not that. It's just, I'm there to help people to and tap into their greatness, or potential. So when your focus is them, not you, everything becomes easier. So I've just focused on that. So I'm there for them to give them that energy. And so that was the energy I connect with.
What a great reminder, you're there to serve others, whether
Yeah.
it's on the stage, in a business, in a meeting.
In your
It's
house.
not about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
And so that helps to control all the explosive cocktail, because you're not anymore looking at yourself and and you never you're just okay. I'm there to
serve.
serve, to do I have a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I've done that my first time, and I received an instant feedback from my mentor on stage in front of people. And everything made sense at the time. But at the time I was literature and French teacher, right? And he could read through me and said, well, Cecile, you're not a French teacher or whatever. You do much more than that. You, with all respect, with French teacher, but you inspire people to do exceptional things. You inspire people to believe in themselves. You awake their self-confidence so they can reach that potential. And at the exact moment that it's like inside, and I had the movie of your life. I was not dying, but I had the very quick movie of all the moments in my life I've done that without consciousness, like automatic. I was like, wow. It's
How
like
life has been preparing you for that.
or gave me opportunities to be in my greatness.
Yes,
To express my talent
Mm-hmm.
naturally. So
Express your gifts.
yeah, perfect. Exactly. Thank you. So naturally, you can do that, whatever vehicles is. It can be stage, but I was teaching French, but I was not teaching French. I was teaching people to believe enough in themselves that they can do whatever they want to. They can create the reality they want.
I think this is such a powerful moment because I feel everyone has very unique gifts that they're dying to come out. They want to be on that stage, whether it's a literal stage or metaphorical stage, whatever the gift is. And there's always an inkling, I think, in every person. They know before they do it that it's right, it's a match. But there's the fear and the hesitation and the doubts. And it's that crucial point before you do something and right after you do it. And you realize, I can do this. I am meant for this. This is my gift or my dharma or the vehicle for me to express myself. And I wonder, how can someone who maybe is listening to this and says, I don't know what my gifts are, I don't know what my stage is in life, how can they start to connect with that part of themselves or look for the clues in their life of where the gifts are?
Oh, yes. Sometimes we don't have the awareness or the distance, sufficient distance to look at their life. But I'm sure this person are already expressing one way or the other
Exactly.
their gifts,
Exactly.
but they don't see them. So the best way may be to ask your friends, what do you think I do well? What do you think? What do you recognize? What do you recognize in me that inspires you, or that you see I do with such ease? And
Yes.
you will be surprised by the answers.
I love that. What comes easy to me?
Yeah, and you can ask yourself too. I mean, and that can be something you enjoy doing as a hobby, and it's okay. You don't need to put a lot of pressure on you to understand what are my gifts or what is my purpose, or don't put pressure on you. Just give yourself time and space to be in presence with yourself, to know yourself, to love yourself. And in that space, well, magic will happen. And naturally, that will give you, that will open opportunities for you to express you more.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you understand who you are, or when you're in touch with yourself, you're most willing to experience different things. You're more open. And so in that openness, that's ways you can express more of you, and you can be more at service.
Yes. I also think to listen to the invitations from the universe, really stay aware of any little clues or signs or someone telling you, hey, you might be good at this thing. And instead of dismissing it or saying, I can't do that, pay attention. That's a clue. That's reality channeling through a person to give you a message of some sort. The other thing you mentioned about the stage that I thought was so interesting, which is that the scariest moment or the most frightening stage is one person. It's not about 840 people. It's actually speaking to one person or having the fear of no one showing up.
Yeah.
I'd love it if you can touch on that in case someone wants to put themselves out there, but their fear is no one will show up for me.
Well, if your fear is no one will show up, that will happen. So be prepared. Yeah. Well, when you start as a public speaker or trainer, so what you want is to share with people and to be out and go. And in my case, for example, I worked with my mentors and then fill venues with 2,000 people and more. It's just huge. Okay. So how do you come from that to you starting and just, what will be my stage? My stage, obviously, I would love to have 1,000 people, right? And I know I can handle that. I already done that. And this is like easy for me because this is my talent, my gift. But, well, you have to start somewhere, and everyone start with small. Yes. And and the most difficult thing to do is, as my mentor said, to put butts in seats. It's so difficult to bring people to you, like physically, to make people show up. Yeah, so hard. Bali is another reality, which is not the reflection of what is outside, right? This is not. I've last year, one of the first event I've seen or whatever, this girl was speaking for the first time in a venue here. They do weekly events, so people are used to go there, and she was like saying, I was shocked. Like she was saying that, wow, um, it's not a lot of people, and for a first time, and said no, not a lot of people is one people or nobody. It's just like you have
anything more than one is excellent for a first time.
One, I mean, that's the perfect experience you need also to forge yourself, I think. So because what would you do if only one person shows up?
You serve that one person as best you can.
Or you go to have a drink. I don't know. What would you do? Yeah, you have the choice.
You show up for them. They showed up for you.
Exactly.
You have to show up for them.
Exactly.
It's not about the numbers. It's about, because also what I like to remind myself is everyone is perceiving you one-to-one. Even 1,000 people, you're having a one-to-one relationship with each person.
Perfect.
So it actually shouldn't matter if it's 1,000 people or one, because you're speaking to individuals, not to a group, well, as how they perceive it.
That perception is right, of course, but that's a beautiful challenge, because of course in your mind, I mean, in my mind, the room is always full, but it's not the case, yet. And so you just have to, again, put the focus on them, let your ego just calm down, just say, and don't take it personally. It's something you build again. You just step by step. The number is not important, but is who you serve. So if that, and also I truly believe that the person that are in presence with you are the right person. This is what needed to be there, because sometimes, you want a lot of people, but there's a lot of people not aligned.
Yes.
And that will hijack your room, or they will,
So be careful what you ask for. You might want a lot of people, but what you're actually wanting is aligned people.
Yes. In all aspects of your life.
Yes.
You want aligned friends, you want aligned partner, you want, aligned audience. It doesn't matter if you have millions of followers in whatever, Instagram, if it's not a qualified audience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I prefer to have 20 qualified people than a million unqualified.
I think it was Kevin Kelly that wrote a famous article online called 1,000 True Fans. And the idea is you just need 1,000 people that are your true customers.
Yes.
They want to learn from you. They like what you make. They appreciate what you make. They'll buy any album or book or thing that you make. Everyone else can be, a casual fan, can just check in, check out. But you just need 1,000 people. And when you think of that, it becomes doable. You understand, okay, if I keep going down this journey and I'm not seeking the million casual people, I'm seeking the 1,000 people that I can really serve. That's where it clicked for me.
That's interesting. And maybe you can even break it down more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the next person I can serve?
Yes. Who is the next person I can serve? That's as simple as it gets.
Exactly.
I love it. What is the deepest spiritual lesson you learned in 2023 that will serve you in 2024?
Wow. It's trust. I've learned to trust and to surrender to that trust. So you cannot really trust the divine if you don't surrender to it.
They have to go hand in hand.
Yes, I mean, because I faced a situation where cognitively I was clear on everything what was happening and the outcome, and I was super clear. But my body and my heart, emotions weren't there. They were in another space.
Mm.
And I was resisting to that my body and my heart needed. And so I learned to surrender in a deep level and trust the process, but in a deepest level that I had to face before. So trusting the divine, trusting also your inner wisdom that you don't have control on it. And relax into it.
Mm.
Even if everything else, your mental, is resisting. So that's the hardest lesson of last year. It took me a while to overcome, to navigate through that. Really, I navigating the resistance. Also the I don't understand. It's clear, but I don't know why I cannot overcome that now. And I wasn't integrating my heart. I wasn't integrating what I felt in my body, what I was feeling in my body, and surrender to the time. That is, the divine time is not your time. My time is fast. I want everything for yesterday time. And it's not like this.
So you logically knew something was clear for you, a situation,
Yes.
and then you had to navigate and surrender to how your body and soul were feeling about it.
Yes.
Mm.
Is exactly. So to make it maybe more real, I fell in love, and I knew that had an end, and I was clear with that.
You knew it had to end.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was okay with the whole journey.
Yes.
We fell in love, but it was it was traveling. It spent a time here, and I knew also deeply that, well, it's not the one. But it's not because I knew that in my head. Well, my heart and my body was completely different story, and I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that because I said, yeah, I will suffer 3 days and okay, I will move on. No, no, I get sick. I had to process a lot of things because it was the perfect trigger. It helped me so much to evolve in a lot of things. Is amazing in a lot of ways. And I'm very grateful for that journey, but that was hard work.
Yes.
And I signed for it, I agreed to it, but that was so hard. I could not expect that. And that helped me to transcend a lot of things, but
And if I had to guess, the work was all about you.
Oh, yeah.
Not really anything anymore to do with that person.
No.
They were the perfect trigger.
Yes, absolutely. And all the relation we have, I was very conscious of everything what are happening, all the triggers, it pop up beautiful. And I choose to go there and say, yeah, perfect. So even as I said before, like a partner come to you to help you evolve. If you're willing to receive that, it's beautiful. So I just, in the time when we stay together, it helped me to evolve so much. Like, wow, much.
Up level.
Absolutely. And I was so proud of myself because wow, that was a confirmation of also of all the work I've done. It was the embodiment of like the universe sending me, you see how much you're up leveled, like because relationship before him, for example, was still another down level. So I was like, wow, I up level so much, but it helped me to up level a lot. But it helped me because I was open to receive that and willing to go there in the darkness. And then I went, and hopefully, I could, yes, grow a lot with that journey.
You mentioned earlier having absolute faith in the
Yes.
divine.
Yes.
Did you have faith in the darkest moments of that journey?
Or sometimes I can doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's always a little sparkle, which is part of me, even in the darkest moment.
Yes.
Even the moment I could look on the window when living in the 13th floor, like, that could end, no. Even in the darkest moment, I have that sparkle. I love this experience we call life so much that I am willing to stay and to face whatever, But yeah, I can lose that, but I also recover.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I wish that for every person on earth is to keep hold of that, even the tiniest flicker of the light. Keep coming back to that and stay in the game. Don't exit the game, because if you stay in the game long enough, something will shift. Something will move through you or help you process something, and you'll reach another level.
And it's when there's the hardest moment is when you reach the threshold.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right before the dawn, it's the darkest.
Oh, yes. And so it's where, like, it's the analogy of the carbon, how do you say that? Carbon? The
charcoal?
Charcoal, thank you. The charcoal. So the charcoal, what the difference between a charcoal and the diamond is a charcoal that could handle pressure at a so high level that eventually transcend that and transform, reorganize itself into the next version, which is the diamond. It's exactly the same with you. If you can handle this darkness, this pressure, this despair, you going to transcend the threshold and you going to the next level. And then the next monster is bigger. The game.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
The next monster is bigger, guys.
Yeah, but you prepared. Always. You don't know that?
I absolutely agree, but I'm just imagining someone listening to this. Oh, okay. So I've gone through this journey and the next monster is bigger.
Yes.
That's the reward.
That's the game.
I love it.
Welcome to life. But yeah, that's why people in general stay in their comfort zone. The mind helps us to stay in the comfort zone. This is the way the mind operates, right? It just want to
protect you.
Thank you. Exactly. It want to protect us, and so to prevent us to danger and all that. So it keeps you small. It keeps you in the same place over and over again. Yeah.
I have a question about languages.
Mm.
You speak 4 languages:
Yes.
English, Portuguese, Spanish, and French.
Mm.
And I speak French as well. And I've noticed that when you know another language, it's like you have another operating system that you can look through, because language defines the world in its own peculiar, unique ways. And I'm curious for you, which language do you like to look through the world at?
Oh. So it's true that when you incorporate another language, you not only incorporate another culture, but another way of thinking. So
Yes.
it's another universe.
Yes.
So to understand really a culture, you have to know their language, because the word they use to describe their environment is a clue for you to understand the way they see the world. So I use the languages for different things. So, for example, to pray, to connect with God, is or Spanish or Portuguese.
Ah.
Yes,
Why?
Because it's easier for me. I think it's a perfect language for that. I just connect very much with that. French is not, definitely, because we are. I'm French guy, so I can say things about our people, but yeah, we are so Cartesian. We believe in the material. We are like, okay, I believe it if I see it, kind of guys. So there's no divine in the relationship. Even in religion, is my really spiritual journey start when I was in South America, because they really have another connection with the divine, the God, or whatever you can call it, universe. And so maybe because that is infused through the words,
Yes.
for me this is, and maybe this is, yeah. Now I think that this is a way I learned to pray in Spanish and in Portuguese. I wasn't really praying in French. So I learned my relationship with the divine started really in those languages. That's maybe also my special relationship,
Do you like looking at the world through French in any
Yeah.
ways?
Yes. I like, so now I'm very immersed in English, and that's my challenge. I want to improve my English and be more fluid, comfortable, and to express myself with more words, amplify my vocabulary. So it's a funny game for me, to just see the world through English. But yeah, French has such a refined way to see things. I love poetry in French.
Very elegant language.
Yeah, and also there's words for almost everything. Not everything, but not everything, but all the things related with art, beauty, with, there's words for it. There's concept around it. So, and also, well, French is my native language, so I have much more words to express myself. So yeah, but I write when I journal. Wow, you you can see my journal because it's in 4 languages.
Wow.
Yeah.
You switch between them.
Yes, sometimes the word is easier, so sometimes I start to think in Portuguese, and then because I leave the situation in English, I switch in English, and then, well, this is completely. Sometimes I think like, well, I don't know if somebody is going to write my memories or something, but it has to be.
They better know 4 languages.
Yeah, or ChatGPT would help or something, but
It would be hilarious if you did a podcast in 4 languages with another host who spoke Portuguese and Spanish
well,
and
I
French.
have a very dear friend of mine. She speaks Spanish, French. What else we speak? Well, English. So sometimes our conversations can switch easily to one to another because there's things there. more easy to express.
Little slangs and phrases that
Yeah,
are.
also concept like to talk about emotions. Wow,
Mm,
Spanish is beautiful. It's easier. Like, we don't have in French to give a hug.
really?
No, I hug people.
Embrasser?
Uh, it's a complex. Yeah, it's not exactly that. We don't have that concept. Which are, yeah, we use another set of words, but the
So
concept
not a huggy culture.
it's not. I learned how to hug in South America. Yeah, properly, like hug, like you stay with a connect heart to
Heart to
heart.
heart.
Yeah, and you just hug it. Oh, that's beautiful.
And in terms of the differences between Portuguese and Spanish, what are some curiosities you see between how the two languages differ in perspectives or in the vibe?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, the Spanish maybe is more energetic. It's like pa pa pa. It's fireworks.
Fireworks, I love it.
So, for example, funny story. When I swear, which is really rare, but that can happen in a traffic. For example, if someone frightened me, really like came from nowhere, or I swear in Spanish, in Argentinian Spanish. That comes like they have the best creativity with with slang. But and Portuguese is very evolving and very warming, very sensual language. Like it's all about sensuality. I see it like very, ooh, yes. I fell first in love with Portuguese language when I was in Argentina, and I had this boyfriend. It was Argentinian, speaking Portuguese, and that was my first relation with the Portuguese from Brazil. And wow, the sound was so extraordinary. Like that was soft and sweet and just singing. That was beautiful. And say, I want to learn now to speak like this. Yeah.
It's a very sensual culture.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
Do you ever wish to go back to South America, or is it a place that you feel complete for now?
I hope I can go back to visit my friends soon, whether in Argentina or in Brazil. To leave right now, I know I have to be here. I don't know why, but I know I have to be here. So for a while, I won't be there. And also, it's also a break I need because it's a lot of violence there. And so my nervous system was always in alert. I
I
think
see.
everyone is in alert all the time. And so after a lot of years in alert all the time, it's very tiring.
Yes.
So I think now it's very beautiful. I'm here in Bali, which is a very safe place. Ooh, and I can relax and just not be in alert and feeling in danger every time. Just, so I can relax more. And that I think also allowed me to go to my next level of self-love and acceptance because I could open. I could open myself without fear,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is your deepest intention for 2024?
My deepest intention for this year, oh, so I have a few. I said like I'm challenging myself this year something. Everything that will trigger the shame in me, I will go for it.
Oh, talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So shame is a big trigger for me and in general for a lot of women too. I don't know for men specifically, but as I work more with women, I know this is something like, oh, I don't do that because I feel ashamed. And the way we were educated in the society, we have a lot of shame weight on us. So I don't do that because I don't want to show up this way, or because people will think that and that. So anything that will, so I have that. I know I overcome a lot, but still sometimes feel, oh. And so I don't want to be limited by anything anymore. And moreover, shame. So anyway, every time I will be present to what's happening inside of me, like, oh, I'm afraid, or because that will awake shame, and I know how to recognize this feeling. So this is where I will go. For example, this is not the case, but you invite me to record this podcast. Okay, I feel, oh no, maybe I say no because I don't want people to see me clearly in the podcast, whatever. I'm ashamed.
Mm,
So I know what I need to do is to go and do this podcast.
I see. Yes. Face the fear.
Yeah, transcend it. And just because I don't want to be, so this is my next level of leadership with myself. I
Yes.
don't want to be limited by this shame, because this is the mind operating in you, controlling you as a puppet. And I don't want that.
You remind me of my friend Steve. He would say, if I'm afraid of something, I need to go do it because I'm not going to let fear boss me around. And it's the same sort of like, if I feel shame, okay, there's something important there for me.
Yes.
I got to go explore it. I got to go do it. I got to transcend it. It's such a great word.
And there's something in me, there's something in it that can help me to grow.
Yes.
You know, something like that. And the fear is the same. There's, of course, the fear that protects you, and you have to listen to it.
Different fear.
Of course. But the fear that limitates you, yes, there's something in it for you.
Yes.
And
it's the invitation.
Oh, yes, I love it. It's invitation.
The universe is saying, if you're ready for a little adventure, come this way.
Yeah.
And then we have the free will to decline or accept.
And that will show up again.
Exactly. Exactly. The invitations will keep coming.
Harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other and bigger.
Yeah. But it's an invitation. I mean, this is nice what you said. And maybe everything, if you keep receiving the word around us, like invitations, you have the free will to decide, to accept, not accept, to try, not try, to see, explore. Is that good for me? Oh, maybe not, but I will know after, right? So yeah, I like this vision.
Cecile, it's been such a beautiful, beautiful conversation. What is one last thing you'd love to leave the listener with on how they can lead a more epic, aligned life from a place of leadership?
First, be passionate. Fall in love with yourself, fall in love with your life, and fall in love with your future. So be passionate about all that.
It's the zest, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I feel that in you. Every time you come to a meeting or a gathering, you bring the zest, the energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the passion, the zest, the essence of what life is. It's not always easy in your daily basis to be always passionate, always up in the vibration. I think you can be up if you explore the down also. But if you bring like your passion, if you nourish it, if you don't have it right now, nourish it. Like find things that you love doing or being it. Just surround yourself with things that inspires you. Nature inspires me a lot. It's beautiful. Surround yourself with people that inspires you, and find that passion, that zest, as you said, that thing that will keep the vibrance in you alive.
Beautiful.
And when you do that, like keep doing it, just keep doing it. And after you have that vibrance, you have that inner fire light up, just create systems. So I will go in my masculine, create systems to allow yourself to be true to yourself on a daily basis. Like create a routine, be clear on your values, and nourish a constant awareness on your choices and decisions. So when you decide something, decision is decision. So you're cutting something off. You're choosing something, and that means you're not choosing the rest. So become more aware about what you should choosing, and choose things for you, not because other people will be happy or that we make people happy or not, or whatever the rest. Just if you happy with your decision, I'm sure others will be too. Of course, as a leader, so I will add something. As the leader always make the decision for your highest good and the highest number of people. If you talk about decision involving other people, a decision only involving yourself, just stay true to yourself. Tune in your body and just feel it and keep trying, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Choose yourself and keep going.
Choose yourself every time you can. Like, yes, with love.
Beautiful. Cecile, where can people find you if they want to vibe with you?
Oh, come and vibe with me. I will love that. You can find me in Instagram, in LinkedIn, also in Facebook. I'm not that much in Facebook, but I will check there. And please, if any thought, anything you want to comment or exchange, I'm super open and willing to connect. So show up. I will be there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, James. I'm delighted that I can't believe that that's over. That was such a very pleasant conversation. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.